Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. I am Captain Logan, here to answer your questions live for the next hour or so. I'm going to talk about whatever you guys would like to chat about. To my right is my son, Jason.
Hey, guys.
He is going to hang out with us this evening a little bit. And feel free, if you want to ask Jason questions. A lot of folks have already put questions in and didn't know Jason was here. But if you have anything in particular you want to chat with my kid about, feel free to put questions in. And anything that we bring up that is, kid-friendly or things that Jason has opinions on, of course, he'll weigh in a little bit. Also, here's Danny Nixon.
Hey, everybody. I'm here to ask your questions so Cap can answer them.
Producer and chat moderator extraordinaire, Danny Nixon. Danny, I wanted to let everybody know, despite what it might look like, that Friday is not the new regular day for the show. We have the last, I don't know, not the last couple of shows, but I guess at least twice in the last month, we've had to move the show from Wednesday to Friday. Friday tends to be the day that if it gets put off, it goes on Friday. But no, Friday is not the new regular day for the Captain Logan Show. We are still regularly doing Morphin Mania on both Wednesdays and Fridays, which is part of the reason that when we get postponed, I put it here, because I am also doing Morphin Mania later on. And quick plug for that, right after this show, you're going to see, if you want to stick around and watch some more Power Rangers with us, there's going to be more Power Rangers Zeo here on the channel with me and Jason for a little bit. And of course, my regular co-host, DJ. Also, when Jeffrey, here's a pitch. Cap can't answer questions. Let's just make an entire show or an entire channel about all the ways in which Captain Logan is not adept at things. All of the inept Captain Logan show. Fantastic. Anyway, well, it's time for more self-degradation here on the channel. I also, speaking of things I'm not good at, one of those sometimes is showing up on time. I want to apologize for being late tonight. I want to apologize for pulling a Todd McFarlane and not getting the material out on time. But or like we were talking about before the show started, Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, we've decided that I'm only going to show up on this show on Wednesdays that Doomsday Clock gets dropped. So I'll see y'all next year.
Yeah, not only next year, but when we finally get more of it, only 3 more times, right? Because I think number 9 just came out.
Yeah, number 9 just came out. It's supposed to be just what, a 12-issue mini?
Yes. So 3 more. So 3 more times you'll see Danny Nixon on the Captain Logan show, but possibly spread out over like 3 years. So the amount you see Vince on the channel now, that'll be Danny Nixon, only because he's basing it on when Doomsday Clock comes out. God, now everybody's just coming up with pitches for Captain Logan being bad at things. It's great. David Crabtree, Cap can't read his own questions. That's true. I can, but because Danny Nixon has volunteered to be on the show, I choose not to.
Well, yeah. If you don't have glasses, then you can't read them.
Cinematographic Captain Logan accuses himself of not being adept at anything despite running a multi-million subscriber channel. Well, that's not a multi-million subscriber channel.
I forgot the dang.
Yeah. Multi-thousand. Yeah. But anyway, so everybody, thanks a bunch for joining us. Sure appreciate it. Once again, sorry I'm a little bit late. We got back from a day trip to Topeka where I've been working on. I'm doing too many things at once right now. I'm working on a flea market booth that I posted pictures of on Facebook. We have just turned it into the official Superhero Rewind flea market booth. I'm selling comics and any and all things having to do with superheroes. And you can check out the pictures on Facebook. Danny graciously made me a logo for it, or a poster, I should say. We're using the regular Superhero Rewind logo, but he made me a great poster. And Danny, people keep walking up to the poster and trying to identify stuff.
That's
like, oh, look, it's Ninja Turtles. Oh, look, it's Power Rangers. And then some people like know what issues things are from. And that's oh, look, it's Killing Joke. And yeah, it's fun.
Did I get I know one of them I put that deep pull TMNT one that's just got like the onomatopoeia that y'all had mentioned on the channel one time. And I can't remember if I included
you put that somewhere. That's not there. The weird, and this isn't even a deep pull reference from the channel, but the weird one that a lot of people wouldn't know where it came from. And I've never read this book, so I only know about it because I have seen other people. review the book. Yeah, because but you had that panel with the dog saying dog things from, I think, Hawkeye.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You put that in there. I thought that was a hilarious choice. So I keep having to explain to people what that is. Like, what is that?
I'm just a fan of David Aja's artwork.
Well, it's a real quirky Hawkeye book that was super popular and was very counterintuitive to what you would think a Hawkeye book would be. And then there was a Black Widow book that was just like it.
Yeah.
Early.
I should review those or read those at some point. But
on Comic Rewind.
Listen to me. I review so much stuff I can't say the word read. It just turns into a review. I'm like, I should review that. I was gonna say read. Just immediately turns into review. Anytime during the show, if there's something you would like to ask us, feel free to leave a question, and we will get to as many as humanly possible in the comments. Danny has already written out, I'm sure, 15 whole pages worth. And then, if there's something you want to make absolutely certain that we talk about during the show, you can leave a super chat, and that will guarantee that your question or comment gets read. And we sure appreciate all the support, folks. Dan Torrey is there in the comments. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
2/3 of the Geekvolution Band of Dans.
That's true. We just need Dan's news to show up, and we've got everybody here. We have got to schedule that and figure out what exactly we're doing. But at some point, there is going to be a Cap and Dan's panel on something.
The best episodes of Full House with Danny Tanner in them.
I feel like there's exactly one person I could get on board with that, and I'm not one of them. So there you go. All right, Danny, why don't we go ahead and just jump straight into it and give us our first question, sir.
All right, our first question is a pre-written question from Maniac Madness 11. He says, what are your thoughts on episode 1 of Beast Morphers and Ryan Parrott taking over for the Mighty Morphin comics? And will you and Eric ever do a complete review of the Shattered Grid arc?
Okay, let me work backwards. Eric and I have talked back and forth about maybe doing Shattered Grid. I didn't like the way it ended. Eric was having huge issues with that series in general. If you go back and look at the review we did during our Power Rangers theme show on the Omnibus. So we have had a hard time getting real excited about sitting down and reading all that because it's lengthy and it's longer than it needs to be. And it did kind of the obvious convoluted stuff I thought it would do. I'm not in love with it. There's stuff in it that I like a lot. But so the answer to that is maybe. I don't know yet. I'm also not sure even how much interest there is. Because I don't know if you picked up on this, Danny, but issue 25 was huge.
Is that the
Shattered Grid?
Is that the one with Tommy back? Or is there like any significance to that one, or is he already back before?
Well, no, Tommy was there the whole time, but that was bringing back Lord Draken.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
so
it was
opposite of Tommy.
Yeah, and that was a big deal just because they made a big deal out of bringing in other Ranger teams and stuff, and it got a lot of people to buy issue 25. It's pretty evident that a lot of people didn't stay with it, and that some people maybe read the next 2 or 3 issues and either had a hard time keeping up with it because you kind of need to know everything. There are a lot of characters where if you're not familiar with that show, it's just really difficult to even keep up with what's going on. And like, it's like a big crisis type event that nobody asked for. Like the idea of bringing in a bunch of Ranger teams is fun, but you don't want it to hold your hand, but it was very difficult to follow if you don't know everything. I think that was a big issue with it. But I think a lot of people were kind of left out because you also
Slayer.
And the Ranger Slayer, that was another big thing. And she's awesome, and her costume is fantastic. That's kind of a like not evil but morally ambiguous like hunter version of Kimberly from another universe. But they've
that's
kept,
in Go-Go, right?
Yeah, she starts in Go-Go, and then they keep her around in the current stuff. I don't know if you're reading the current stuff right now.
I am not, because I
but she's
Do
in that
not
team
know
right
what's
now.
going on.
It's hard to follow. I keep calling it Battlestar Galactica with Power Rangers. But anyway, but I also think it kind of left people out who haven't been following the series in general. It should have been a great jumping on point, and it was kind of hard to read if you hadn't already read a ton of it. So anyway, I don't know if that's going to happen. And then the other thing, the first thing was about the new show, but what was the second question?
Parrot taking over Mighty Morphin.
Perot. Yeah. I haven't looked into that. I didn't even know that that he was getting that book, so I'm not sure. I got to refresh myself on his catalog. But somebody else needs to jump on that. Did he say the main book?
Mighty Morphin is what.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it is time for new blood on that book, which is sad to say because the new team has only been on it a few months, but it is, I don't think, what anybody wants. So anyway, and then let me talk real briefly about the first episode of Beast Morphers. I did watch it. Eric hasn't had a chance to see it yet, and the link I was sent was on YouTube, and of course those get pulled off real quick because it's kind of illegal and Nickelodeon doesn't want it there, but it's hard to watch stuff on Nickelodeon's website, so, and they don't always post things, so Power Rangers is always difficult to watch week to week unless you're subscribing to cable. So I don't know if Eric will get to it until it goes on Netflix, but hopefully he'll get a chance to watch it, and I'll talk about it a little bit on the Omnibus. I will say right away, just with that first episode, I liked it a lot. I think it's got real potential. It finally feels like we're being creative and thinking again and trying to do something we've never done before. Danny, the premise is kind of like corporate Power Rangers. It's a really cool notion, yeah, where the idea is why don't we there's this unlimited supply of power called the Morphin Grid that the Power Rangers keep tapping into to fight evil. Couldn't we use that as a renewable source of energy? And they're trying.
A really cool idea.
Yeah, and so there's this corporation that seems benevolent enough that that is kind of naive about it, and they think that they can use the Morphin Grid to power the city and then eventually the world, right? And then they also happen to, of course, be making Power Rangers too. That also, and the mayor, who right away seems like a cool character, and I'm liking that actor so far. He's turned around a little too easily on it, but at first he says, like, he does the kind of like yes, but at what cost thing, right? Where he's saying, like, this is a good idea in theory, but you know what's going to happen, right? There's going to be a bad guy that's going to come in and try to steal the power to the Morphin Grid, which is, of course, exactly what happens. And we get evil Power Rangers right away. We get evil Rangers before we get good Rangers. It's exciting. They got a lot done in 22 minutes. I was really impressed with it. And I hope it doesn't get mediocre as it goes along, but it feels like they're letting Jed Len do what he wants to now. So if you really liked the Disney era of Power Rangers, if you're a Dino Thunder fan or an SPD fan or and it feels in some ways kind of like a spiritual successor to RPM.
I am an RPM fan.
If you're a fan of that stuff, I think you'd like it a lot. Jason, you saw it.
I love RPM.
No, you didn't get to see the new show, did you? Because they'd already pulled the link. So Jason's not seen it yet.
No, I'm not.
But yes, I was impressed with it. I think it's got real potential, and it is possible that the real mediocre and bland era of Neo Saban is over finally, which is exciting. And if I'm hoping this. I'm basing this on one episode. We haven't even seen Megazords yet, but I'm hoping that this bodes well for potential movies. If this means that Hasbro is just letting people make things and trusting the property, this could be a new golden age. It also could not be. I mean, I can't say too much based on one episode, but I was very impressed with it. I think it's great.
Awesome.
Oh, thanks, Gamerbug.
Yeah, Gamerbug likes Jason's headphones.
Most people comment on my headphones, but thanks.
You get almost as many comments on your headphones as DJ used to on his wall of color-coded DVDs. But that's gone now because he moved to another house, and now he just stands in a blank white void that looks like he's in the opening of The Matrix Revolutions. Anyway, let's
Here's a super chat.
get another question. Yeah, I saw that. I got a guy for that.
Oh yeah. I'm just telling Danny if he didn't know already.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm big time now. I got a guy to read my super chat. Look, guys. It's not that I can't. It's that I choose not to. Go ahead, Danny.
The great irony of this is he picked someone who's illiterate to read all of his questions for him.
Yeah, I'm still. I just don't want to hurt your feelings by firing.
I'll jump up to.
I'm gonna make you remember that next time you like mispronounce something.
Well, that's exactly why I said it, because I always seem to like trip up over stuff.
Oh, it happens to the best of us, man. So that's horrible. You know how I'm so used to busting Danny's chops because it's funny, but I'm not free. So you know I almost said it happens to the best of us. So of course it happens to you.
See, I was thinking something along the lines of, and it happens to the worst of us too.
So naturally it would happen to you. All right, Danny, let's get another question. Wow, that was almost too mean, even to say in a joking way. All right, go ahead, buddy.
All right, our first super chat of the night comes from Thomas Edgehill. He says, what are your thoughts on the Dark Phoenix and Brightburn trailers?
Brightburn I've talked about before. I guess maybe there's a new trailer. I haven't seen it yet. I like to comment on initial trailers, and then usually, unless there's a big exception where there's just so much, different new stuff that I really want to talk about, I'll talk about. So, Brightburn's a movie I'm going to see. I don't know that I need to know more about it before I go. So I've not watched another trailer, and I don't know if I'm going to. Dark Phoenix. I did see the new trailer for that because I'm fascinated by how it keeps getting pushed back, and I'm waiting for them to finally show all the cosmic stuff that Kinberg keeps talking about. And
there's just one great big shot of stars, and that's what they're talking about when they say cosmic.
Yeah, you know what we got to indicate the cosmic this time? Well, they got it a ship and they're headed towards space. So, I don't know why they're keeping all that under their hats if it's as cosmic as he keeps talking about. That's weird. You'd think that's how you'd sell it, especially after Guardians. And, I don't want to suggest that you should sell everything on another movie and make it look like another movie, but it's a little bit surprising that they're not at all, right?
Maybe they're using the cosmic as a somewhat backdoor in for if this gets lumped into MCU, and that's why they're keeping it under wraps.
I doubt it very seriously. We've been told almost flat out that they're rebooting, right? I don't think that has anything to do with it. And even if it did, Danny, the movie's the movie. What's the point of hiding it? You know what I mean? It's gonna be what it is, regardless of whether or not it got lumped in. No, I can't think of any good reason to do that. I also thought that the space and cosmic stuff was surprisingly thin with the Captain Marvel trailer. I don't know why they didn't sell that more on it either. I won't go into spoilers. I have seen that movie. I'm not going to review it tonight, so don't ask, guys. I'm not going to tell you how I felt about that movie. But not to probably anybody surprised that knows anything about Captain Marvel. There's space stuff in that movie. Why isn't there not any of that in the trailer? Really? I was a little surprised by that. But yeah, we didn't do that with X-Men, and it's weird. And that makes me wonder what it looks like. Because, is Fox saving it because they're afraid of it? Does it look bad? They're selling that movie as a remake of X3. Who wants to see that? That's going to get people to go to the movie theater. You know what people miss about Dark Phoenix from X-Men 3? Well, the answer is nothing. But we're going to act like what people miss about the Phoenix from X-Men 3 is that it was it was an evil personality in Jean Grey's head that Professor Xavier morally ambiguously pushed down into the background, and then he's gonna pay for it later. The past comes back to haunt them. We're just making that movie again. Now, this is all stuff we knew before the new trailer, so I'll speak to that. Look, guys, I don't know what that movie's gonna actually be, but right now looks like a train wreck to me. I'm gonna be really surprised if that movie's not just a complete mess. I don't know about you, Danny. I think it looks awful.
I have not seen any the newest trailer. I think I saw the first one, but I'm not paying too much attention to it, honestly.
Oh, are people spoiling Captain Marvel in the comments?
No, it's a troll.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks for taking care of that. Appreciate it. But yeah, guys, please nobody spoil Captain Marvel in the comments. I'm not going to either. Again, I don't think it's saying too much to say there's space stuff in the Captain Marvel movie about a character that we know, came from space. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to that movie in the sense that I'm really curious to see what it turns out to be. But I'm kind of expecting more Apocalypse, but with a lot more convoluted in a lot more like trying to throw everything in. That's kind of what it feels like.
It's X-Men 3, the Last Stand, the editor's cut.
Pardon me. Yeah. Obviously, I'm open to it being great. It's just we know that there are at least a couple of cuts of this now, and there were massive reshoots and stuff. It's going to be really sad if it goes off, if they go out on a sour note or on a like super convoluted or just awful train wreck note. Because the place to have ended this franchise was Days of Future Past. It's a wonderful ending, and you know what? You can still have Logan. Really easily, because it's kind of off on its own anyway. So, like, sometimes I'll say that, and people will be like, "Well, Cap, don't you want Logan?" Yeah, but it's a standalone thing. Like, there's no reason you can't still make that. And that's also a really nice cap off. It's like, then we go to the future, where it's also, like, pseudo post-apocalyptic. Like, we saved the Earth from a future run by Sentinels, and then all the mutants die. And like, yeah, I know the dates don't really work out. It's really funny. Like we go to the future, and almost like precisely at the time that the apocalyptic future of Days of Future Past happen, Logan happens. It's really funny. Yeah, but yeah, you could still have that, and then it's Noah says these Huge Past and Logan are good endings to the X-Men franchise. We didn't need any more in this universe. Now, I'm saying this retroactively. Maybe if Fox had known they were getting bought out by X-Men, Fox X-Men owns Fox. That Fox was getting bought out by Disney, and also that the Deadpool movies were going to totally eclipse the X-Men movies. They wouldn't have made any more X-Men movies, and they would have just waited until the reboot happened. But they didn't know that, so what are you going to do? Not rush things. That would have been nice. Anyway, let's go on to something else, shall we?
The second part of his question is, if you could go back in time and fix any bad or not well-received movie, what would it be, and how would you fix it?
Wow. I mean, so many things I could say, right? Any bad or not well-received movie, if I could fix it. Like I only get one, Danny. There's so many things. The first thing that comes to mind, and this is partly because of the bittersweet, or not even bittersweet, the disappointment I had on multiple viewings after a thing I loved, and then looking at the future after it. I don't know how to say anything but Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Because you fix everything that's not working about Man of Steel, and the DCEU looks way different.
Yeah.
And whatever happens after it, after it's, more well-received and not polarized, and also doesn't feel like cynical Superman, might have been wonderful. You either get somebody else directing that movie, and I think that's the main way you save it. I know you didn't ask me how I would save it, but I'll talk about this for a second. So, Danny, take the basic idea of Man of Steel and all of the status quo stuff with that, where we change basic things to normal Superman lore. A lot of that I have no problem with, and you could leave exactly the way it is. Like, maybe not have a Ma and Pa Kent that don't want Clark Kent to use his powers at all. Maybe not do that, or at least have a better angle for why they feel that way, right? Yeah. But the big thing is, I don't mind a Lois Lane that knows Superman before she knows Clark. I think that's an interesting angle. It felt like new territory, and I was curious to see where it would go in the theater, and that really made me perk up. So like things like that, I don't have a problem with. I don't think you have to change any of it. I think you can leave that. But you get somebody who fundamentally already thinks Superman is cool and doesn't want to try to make him better somehow, and isn't just about the action, and isn't like, oh, Superman has cool powers. What if he caused a lot of property damage and killed the bad guy at the end? How about that? So like, or if you're going to do the, and I've said this before, but if you're going to do the kill Zod at the end thing, just be more thoughtful about it and make me believe that he had to do that, and make it about how difficult that is for him. And you could do a sequel about like Superman still trying to be Superman, but almost with like PTSD or something. It could be really interesting. I think there's a lot you could do with that. But yeah, just have the right person at the helm with that movie, and make it a thing that resonates with people, and make it a thing that inspires people, and then you're off to the races after that. But what I was going to say is, like, if Snyder had made that movie and it was a better movie, I guess you still could have ended up with problems after it, because it seemed like DC was going to hang on to him no matter how that movie did. It didn't make as much money as they wanted it to, and 50% of people who saw it didn't like it, and they still hung on to him.
And then they still hung on to him after BVS doesn't do good. So,
Keller Rourke says, I would save Justice League. Yeah, but not the expense of having to put up with BVS.
Yeah.
For me, like, what I would do is I would either fix Man of Steel or start with Justice League with a different director.
Yeah. I think if you're going to start with the Man of Steel, you keep the core idea of like Superman in a cynical world, but Superman himself can't be the cynical piece.
Precisely. Yeah.
Like, that's the entire point to me of putting Superman in a cynical world, is not to see Superman be cynical, but to see the effect that a positive Superman could have on a cynical world, and how he, either makes things better or people reject him, or whatever direction you want to go.
Or whatever angle you want to take it, but try to make it believable that this guy would still be able to hold on to his core principles, even though he's constantly being challenged by the world to dismiss them. And I've said this 1,000 times, but that's why Winter Soldier is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of saying this, but Marvel gave us Superman like 3 times. And we've like pretty much the core ideals of Superman like 3 times, and in things about modern cynicism, and we haven't had it with. And then DC did it 1 time with Wonder Woman. Anyway, let's move on and give us go any direction you want to. I don't think we have a lot of super chats right now, so feel free to go to pre-written if you want to, and we'll get back to that.
I'll jump to our newest super chat because it's directly related to this question.
That's a good idea. Segues are nice. I knew there was a reason I kept you around.
Yeah. They're great for when you're a mall cop, too. Grady Child says, a film I would change is The Force Awakens, fire J.J. Abrams, rewrite the script, cut out the First Order, Desert Orphan, Resistance, only borrow a few elements.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time not agreeing with that. I liked Force Awakens for the potential, but it didn't get a lot done on its own. Like, I have a hard time. Okay. I have a hard time not agreeing with that based on what happened after it. Because like or hate Last Jedi, Rian Johnson wanted to go, you're right?
Yeah.
Wanted to go a completely different direction and was not interested in a lot of the things that were being set up there. So we took, like, again, like or hate that movie, we took a 180 direction, and we went someplace else. And one of my big disappointments with Last Jedi was all the things that I was really curious about that Force Awakens set up that might have been like a trash can on fire if J.J. Abrams had stuck around and made the next one. I don't know. And I guess maybe I'll get to see some of what he might have done with that in his next movie, since he's making the next one. I'm very curious about that, because he can either continue on with what Rian Johnson was doing, go even a third completely different direction, or sort of ignore things about Last Jedi and try to go back to what he was thinking about in the first place. But yeah, don't make the whole thing a first act of a 3-act mystery if you're not going to be the guy that keeps going with it, or the next guy's not interested in what you're doing at all, or you're not going to give him any notes at all. Like, I don't blame that completely on Rian Johnson, because the way he's described it, at least, is that, like, Abrams didn't really know where he was going with anything, and he just set all this stuff up and was like, yeah, you do whatever you want to. And he's like, okay, I don't want to do any of this. That's my read on it.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I just don't see the merit of setting up a bunch of mysteries if you don't have those mysteries already planned out for the three films.
Yeah, at least a vague notion of where you're going with them.
Well, I would think if you're setting up a mystery about, like, who a character's parents are, maybe you know who their parents are. But that's just me.
Sometimes the best ideas come from writing yourself in a corner, which is why I can't completely agree with that. But you have to be consistent about it, and you don't want the answer to be a complete letdown. And I know some people don't agree with that, and they think the reveal that her parents were not anybody special is really cool and interesting. But I just don't think it fits with what we had before. Like, I don't think it works. Is the problem with it? But anyway, I know folks are sick of me talking about Star Wars, and I'm a little sick of me talking about Star Wars. So let's go on to something else, shall we?
All right, let's go on to a topic I don't think you have ever talked about on this channel. Professor Zoom. Well, now we've talked about them.
No, I just said the word bagels, but I don't have a lot to say about bagels, and I don't really eat them. So moving right along.
Professor Zoom 21, what are your thoughts on Arrow ending with season 10 or with season 8?
Yeah, see, that's what I thought might happen. I haven't looked into that beyond the headline. It's well, and Stephen Amell's tweet. It sounds like they might be in, I don't know this for sure, it sounds like they might be in the kind of situation they were with Michael Rosenbaum with Smallville, where the contract goes up, and then this time they can't continue this series because their star doesn't want to keep going. And how do you make Arrow without Arrow? Now, I wouldn't have put that past the CW. I wouldn't have. That, like, Diggle or somebody else is Arrow moving forward, especially because at various points Diggle is supposed to be the Green Arrow, even though he can't fire a bow and arrow. It's hilarious. Like, you get the mantle. You don't even need the skills that go along with it. But it's so I would not have put that past them. I'm kind of impressed with them, honestly, for not doing that, unless the ratings are not there and I just don't know it. But they're not canceling everything else, it doesn't sound like. So it's nice to know that that continuity can continue without its original base show there. I like that. It means that other series could have endings and they could keep this going for a long time, like the Marvel movies. I'm glad that they're letting him quit if he wants to quit, and that's why they're doing it. I wish it had happened earlier, because the show has way outworn its welcome. And if you were going to end it at 8, you might as well have ended it at 5. Like, I don't know how much stuff that's happened in the last 3 seasons we absolutely had to have. The prison stuff is kind of a fun idea and kind of interesting. You could have done it earlier. There's no reason you couldn't have made that like a season 4, season 5 plot. There's so much meandering around. And
wouldn't a Supermax type of story be the perfect ending for that at 5? Your series finale is Oliver Queen escaping the prison, and you bookend it with him escaping the island in the flashbacks, which is flashing back to the pilot.
It could have been kind of a downer ending for that show, but it gets so sappy as time goes on. I just expect like a real wrap up and a bow kind of ending for that show. Not the way it started. Season 1 and 2 Arrow, I expect that show to end with him dead. Or something, and that would have been great, or losing an arm, set him up to be the Dark Knight Returns version. But anyway, I'm glad that they have the integrity to end it without it going to 10 whole seasons like Smallville did. But I do wish it had ended earlier. Dewan wants to know when I started disliking Arrow, and that's a name I don't recognize, so welcome. Yeah, thanks for being here. So middle of season 2, I was disappointed. I became real disappointed in the show because I thought it got really convoluted, and it got meandery, and it didn't seem to know where it was going with all of the Slade stuff, the big mass manipulation plot. It started to get real retroactive, where it was like everything that's happened so far is just retroactively all things he planned, even though he couldn't possibly have gotten us to this place. It was one of those. but I was still with it enough to keep watching it because the beginning of that season was nigh brilliant. I mean, like it kept surprising me. There are places in second season that feel like Netflix Daredevil good to me, or real close to that. Call me hyperbolic. I thought that season started off really, really well. And Sarah Lance is one of the greatest things to grace superhero television. The original Sarah Lance, not whatever she is now. But then season 3 happens, and you get to the middle of that, and spoiler alert, Oliver gets stabbed and knocked off a mountain by Ra's al Ghul, and then he comes back after the mid-season because endurance,
willpower. He should have been a Green Lantern.
Something, yeah. Especially with all the Ferris stuff we kept setting up and never did anything with. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. I'm jumping around now, but I just thought of this. I've not had a chance to mention this anywhere. They did a thing in the crossover this year in Elseworlds with the robot Amazo, and they never brought up the ship. Like, it never gets mentioned. But they had the ship that Sarah Lance was on called the Amazo, which is a reference to that. And then they do the robot, and they never talk about Amazo. It feels like Smallville all over again, where they get to comic book stuff later on that they never thought they would get to, and they kind of just forget about stuff that they hinted at or brought up when they were trying to actually, like, tell stories in a little bit more of a subtle way. And
I only saw, like, the first half of that.
Oh, yeah. I know you were liking it.
Maybe the first half of that. I don't remember.
Yeah. It's not great. There's things in it I like a lot.
I really like the main plot. But I don't even understand why it's even happening.
Yeah, well, I can try to explain it to you later. I spent 15 minutes trying to explain it to Eric, and I still don't think he got what I was talking about, because I don't know that I did. With the
Elseworlds, or
yes, with the Oliver Barry mind body switch, but not really a switch, because everybody saw them as each other, but now they don't. Anyway, I don't want to get back into that. It's ridiculous.
Blue Dragon 5 asks, Jason, will you be seeing Detective Pikachu?
Yes, I am. I am excited for it. I did not play the game, but I'm still excited for it. I don't know a lot about Detective Pikachu. I really like Pokemon, and I really think that, but Pikachu looks just really weird. I don't know why. The Pokemon in that just look really.
Oh, so you're like Eric. You don't care for the aesthetic of the live action Pokemon.
And yeah, so real quick, I just
looks better than new Sonic. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, Sonic looks terrible.
Okay, so can you see that for a minute?
Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody what Sonic looks like. That's what Sonic looks like. I just want to remind everybody real quick that this just in case you've forgotten because you stare at that weird picture too long. That's what Sonic looks like. I just want to throw that out there. Okay, all right. And doesn't mean it's gonna be terrible. Makes me a little less interested in it though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But I just want to say.
You say that for a second.
That
so just once again, this is Sonic. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I was just going to say that the Detective Pikachu amiibo is like enormous, and you can hardly even like.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's enormous, and if you try to put it on the amiibo for Switch, if you try to do like Super Smash Brothers, it never even comes up. Like, it's just too big.
So it shouldn't even be an amiibo? It's basically just a glorified statue?
Yeah, it's just giant. And I don't even know if... Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for Detective Pikachu.
Everybody's throwing up in the comments. All right. Because of Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny, do you have any opinion on what the Pokemon and Detective Pikachu look like? Because I keep hearing different things back and forth. Like I'm all right with it. Like
Pikachu looks adorable.
You think he looks horrible?
No, adorable. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I'm not a Pokemon fan, so maybe that's what it is. And I don't have like a big connection to the original designs. I think it looks good.
I'm not a Pokemon guy either. I think they're faithful enough. I think his problem with it is that they look like stuffed animals. But like, they are furry creatures. Like,
they look like hard stuffed animals, like statues.
Yeah, but they're still kind of furry. Like they don't have that
furry. Yeah, but like they're furry statues.
They don't have that. See, I don't agree with that because they don't have that CG animation problem that a lot of things do, where like flesh doesn't look like flesh; it looks like plastic. They don't look plastic to me.
That's what impressed me most. It's fur, so it doesn't look like a plastic figure.
And I think Eric's problem with it is just that like it looks like a product that you would buy. Like I don't want to speak for him; he's not here. But like that it looks like a stuffed animal that you'd go buy and snuggle or whatever. But like, I just feel like if you rendered that into live action, that's about what it would look like.
Well, okay, so I think
and Mr. Mime does not look like something you would want to snuggle. People have called that nightmare fuel, and I think it's great. I think it's hilarious.
I feel like Pikachu has the same problem that character had in Brawl, and all the characters in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where the colors, the lighting is just really dark, and
it's a detective movie. That's why, I mean, either it's trying to look. That's the thing is, you're putting two things together that sound anachronistic, which I'm curious about before I'm pushing against. Like, again, he's not here to defend himself. Eric's whole thing is, well, it's not the Pokemon movie I want. I don't really care about having a live action Pokemon movie. This is in my mind, better excuse maybe to have humans in a Pokemon movie than just we have a trainer. Like you're gonna probably have a lot more human characters in something like this, and so I think it's a better excuse for that. Maybe it's a weird choice. Don't get me wrong. That you'd make a movie based on a game that we didn't even have in America at the time that it was announced, and then throw it on us real quick so that people know what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm open-minded about it, certainly.
Also, let's talk about Ryan Reynolds.
Let's talk about Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Real quick. So, I did not like the character in Jurassic World.
That's not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. You're talking about the kid that's in that.
I mean
the main kid. That's not Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. I forget his name right now, but yeah, I didn't like him in Jurassic World. I didn't like him in Jurassic House either, but maybe he'll be better in this. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I thought we were talking about Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, we're not talking about Ryan.
I don't know any of the actors' names.
Ryan Reynolds is different.
Okay. He's also Tick, right?
No.
Then what am I thinking about?
I don't know. Dan, let's go ahead and move on, buddy. No, it's his last name's not Smith. No, it is Justice Smith, right? Because for a minute, Eric thought that maybe he was one of Will Smith's kids. He's not one of Will Smith's kids. That's not. But I think his last name is Smith. Yeah.
All right, I'll jump back into the super chats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian Ogden, is there an MCU film that you think is legitimately bad? Personally, I think Iron Man 2 is a train wreck.
Iron Man 2 just has a real bad third act. That movie loses me because the villain doesn't have any motivation but keeps doing stuff anyway. It just kind of meanders to an ending. Shocker. No, that's Whiplash. You are batting 1,000 today, Jason. Anyway, so yeah, it's. I don't want to say that all around it's a bad movie. It doesn't work by the end. I have big issues with it. But people you kind of put me in a corner here because now I'm going to be forced to say a thing that I know a lot of people don't agree with and is controversial. But I don't like Ragnarok on a story level. I think it's an entertaining movie that's a not good story. I also have only seen it the one time, so I'm still going on one viewing because I didn't like that movie, so I've not gone back to it. Obviously, eventually I will, and when I do, maybe my mind will be changed in some way. But just based on that one viewing, that I would put in that list. I like Dark World a lot less. I think Dark World is absolutely a bad movie. I think overall, I think all around Dark World is not good. What?
Wait.
What else?
Jason.
I'm not a big like I didn't love Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just real mediocre, real throwaway. It's one of those movies that I wouldn't go back to if I didn't watch these things for my job.
Captain Marvel.
But yeah, those are the big ones. I'm not talking about Captain Marvel yet.
Okay.
So yeah, so you'll just have to wait and
It's
see
not bad.
where I would put that. But anyway, go ahead, Danny.
All right. Thomas H.L. asks, Jason, what are your thoughts on the new Pokemon game trailer?
Huh? What new Pokemon game trailer?
Well, I guess he doesn't have any thoughts. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's talking about either.
What? Well, what is he talking about? Are you talking about because like?
There's not even a new game coming out, is there?
No, because Let's Go Pikachu.
We just got Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah, we got that last year.
Yeah, let us know what you're talking about. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
And you can leave that as just a pre-written question. You don't have to.
Yes. Dude, please don't feel the need to put that in as a super chat. We'll see it.
All right. He says Pokemon Sword and Shield on Switch at the end of 2019.
Didn't even know about that.
I didn't know about it. So
Jason will look into it and get back to you.
Yeah. 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 I don't know what that. Yeah. I don't know.
What would you think about maybe at some point doing like occasional like trailer or news videos on your channel?
Maybe
for, like,
I could
kid stuff. I think that would be kind of
maybe
interesting.
I could do like reaction videos to like game trailers.
See, I hear reaction and I just do this, but yeah, but you could do videos talking about a trailer.
Yeah.
Do you mean reaction like you would review it, or like you would actually watch the thing and react while you're watching it?
I wouldn't even know anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it. What else, Danny?
All right. Cinematographic asks, hey, Captain Logan, on a scale of 1 to 52, what are your thoughts on the teaser trailer for Artemis Fowl?
Remind me what that is. Artemis Fowl. I feel like I watched that, but I can't remember now. What is that?
I think it's based on like a young adult like spy series.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't think I've seen that. So I'm sorry. I can't on that scale at all say anything. And also, when you said 0 to 52 or 1 to 52, I really expected it to be a DC thing, and then you just went on like a totally different track there. I'm sorry. I don't even right off know what that is.
All right.
Yeah, everyone knows about stuff that we just don't know about.
Well, I'll look into it. I mean, that's part of why I make the show. Is I learn stuff. I've heard of that. And that's why I was like, I think maybe I've seen something on that. I just can't remember now.
Oh, right.
Blue Dragon 5 says about a 7. That's pretty funny. Stussy says current thoughts on Doomsday Clock. Honestly, I haven't read the last couple issues. I'm waiting for it to finish because it's been so late. I cannot even keep track of what is going on in it month to month. Because it's not month to month. And as Eric says, if it takes too much longer, it's going to lap itself again. It's hilarious how long that's been. We are coming up into our 3rd major DC event since Doomsday Clock started. Sorry, go ahead, Danny.
That series put out like the first issue before I even started helping with the channel.
Dragon 5 says Dr. Manhattan's doing stuff, Cap. That's what's happening at Doomsday Clock. Sorry, go ahead.
Doomsday Clock, like the first issue came out before I started helping with this channel. So
yeah, that's true.
I hadn't even started my internship in college before that series
you're
dropped.
Months into your like full-time graphic designer guy job.
Basically, yeah. And I might pick up the trade at this point. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know that anybody does anymore, or at least a lot of people. Like I think even a lot of people that were interested in it have kind of lost interest because it's taken so long. And
like
that tends to, isn't that Gary Frank? That tends to happen with him.
Yeah.
Three Jokers is a big thing too. Yeah, these are both things that were teased hard at the beginning of Rebirth. We don't even call it Rebirth anymore. It's been so long.
I'm not the biggest fan of. I like Gary Frank's art. But I'm not a big enough fan that I'm going to wait around this long for a 12-issue miniseries that doesn't feel like it should be as important as it was hyped up to be. So, I don't know.
Is it worth art that takes that long? Like,
no.
It's, like, I get trying to be super detailed and like harkening back to Gibbons, if not doing a straight up Gibbons, but like I would almost understand it more if it was Gibbons.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to be like Gibbons, but there's a panel that looks exactly out of like a Garth Ennis like Punisher, and I'm forgetting who the artist is, but the artist who has one face for everybody with that like the hook nose.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of his name right off either.
And I saw that and I was like, I just was aghast at how awful the face looked. I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know enough about it to know if it's a spoiler or not, so I'm not going to mention the character, but it just caught me off guard that people waited that much or waited that long as far as the delays go, and that's what the art looked like. So I've got a
big question about Doomsday Clock. Hi, Jason. Welcome back. And we're not going to know the answer to this until it's over, but I suspect...
This is what Sonic looks like.
By the way, this is what Sonic looks like. For anybody that's forgotten, he looks like that. You see that? And he can either hold up one finger or two fingers, or not even hold up, like he doesn't have to be holding up fingers. Oh, but that's what Sonic looks like.
He's doing this. Like, he's like...
Yeah. Anyway. Like... That's great. Here's my big question, Danny, about Doomsday Clock. The assumption everybody made, and for good reason, especially after the button, was that Doomsday Clock was establishing Watchmen as mainstay characters in the DC universe proper. That's why a lot of people didn't like the idea. That's why a lot of people I think some people just think that it's sacrilegious to do a sequel that Alan Moore's not involved with, or do a sequel at all to Watchmen by just by itself. That's already sacrilege, but that you're doing a major disservice to the material, and it's too money milking and whatever to especially to mix those characters in with DC. Usually when a major event, and this was touted up as like the big Rebirth event.
Yeah.
Usually when you have a big event like this that is late, we end up spoiling the ending or spoiling major plot points in it because we get past it and we have to use stuff that it established moving beyond it because it was supposed to be done already. That hasn't happened with Doomsday Clock. You'd think you'd have some of these characters running around in the universe right now, and you don't. So were they able to circumvent it where they realized how late they were before any of that happened, so they like rewrote, redrew issues that had characters that were supposed to be there? Are there minis or monthlies that didn't even come out because Doomsday Clock has been so late that we didn't have any of those characters integrated? That's my big question. When this is finally over, are they gonna 2 years late start putting some of these characters in regular DC proper?
I don't know.
Or have they realized nobody cares? Is Doomsday Clock selling? I haven't even looked at numbers lately.
Dude, does anybody know that it's finally out to buy? But when Rebirth first started and they were doing whatever the character is in Detective, that the guy with the staff who kidnaps Tim Drake, whatever that character is that we're
I forgot about that guy. Was he supposed to be connected all this?
I assumed it was because they're doing this big thing of someone tampering with the universe to pull Tim Drake somewhere, and I just assumed that was going to be.
Keep in mind, there are other assumptions people made about Watchmen 2 that turned out not to be true. Chief among them was Mr. Oz. You remember Mr. Oz? At the beginning of Rebirth, you had this character named Mr. Oz that was like messing around with Superman, and everybody assumed he was Ozymandias. You know why? Because we set up the button thing in the big Rebirth issue, and it's the first two letters of Ozymandias. Spoiler alert, you know who Mr. Oz turned out to be? Do you know this?
Kryptonian, wasn't it?
He's Jor-El!
That's right.
Jor-El!
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Now, was he initially supposed to be Ozymandias and they changed it? Or was that always the plan all along? It feels like a Jurgens move to just make him Jor-El. And that's who wrote that stuff. So I don't know, but
at this point, I
I
don't know where you go. Like, what do you bring? What use do you get out of the Watchmen characters bringing them into the universe?
No, I'm with you, but that seemed pretty clearly to be the point. Otherwise, why would you set up Doomsday Clock in regular mainstream stuff and then just not have Watchmen characters after that? I am absolutely convinced that there were a lot of things, and not just things related to Watchmen, that Rebirth intended to do that it has already moved away from and changed. Like a lot of movies that get like reshot and then you find out later, oh, they had this whole interesting plan they were going to do, and then they ended up not doing it. Like I'm trying to remember. Oh, the big one is the Joker, right? Like we've been waiting for this Three Jokers thing forever. Interesting that Jeff Johns is partially responsible for the lateness with all of this, right? And I mean, I say that he's involved in it. If it's all art, it's not his fault. But Jeff Johns touted up the whole Three Jokers thing at the beginning of Rebirth in the Rebirth issue, right? It's been 3 years, and I think it's been that long. It's been close to 2015. It's been that long. He sets up the whole Three Jokers thing. Big mystery with what's going on with the Joker. I thought Tom King, I know I've been on this for a while. We'll get back to Super Chats in a minute. But I want to talk about this because I haven't had a place to talk about it. Tom King does a prequel story called War of Jokes and Riddles. I was convinced so that he could get to tell a Joker story because Joker was off limits, right?
Yeah.
Nothing was going to happen with Joker until War of Jokes and Riddles. And I thought it was connected to Snyder, where the reason he didn't come back right away is because of what happened in Endgame. And then we do an issue right before the wedding issue, 50 with Tom King, where the Joker's just there.
Well,
what is going on?
Didn't Tom King write Joker in some not Batman book before that one?
No. Maybe it has already been revealed that wasn't really the Joker, but because I'm 20 issues behind, and there are, I think I'm that far behind. Are we at 70? I'm several issues behind. So maybe people know more about this than I do already because I haven't been keeping up. But but the thing about that is, if that ends up not actually being the Joker, unless Tom King turns me around and convinces me that it's as interesting as if it was, his take on the Joker in that is so interesting. If it turns out to be somebody just pretending to be the Joker, I'm gonna be kind of upset, honestly. That needs to be the Joker. At least from where I'm sitting right now. I'm not running with all the information at the moment. And the more I'm thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I actually don't have all the information at my disposal that I might would have. Because I also know that we're doing stuff with Flashpoint Batman in this stuff I haven't read yet. So I don't know yet.
Yeah, that's okay. Makes no sense, but okay.
We got rid of him. I don't know what we're doing with him. But anyway, I got to catch up so I can talk about this stuff. I tend to wait until I'm ready to review this stuff, and that puts me behind, and it's difficult to it's real smart. You know, I do like a show where I talk about current things, but then I don't keep up with current things. So yeah. Anyway, how many super chats do we have, Danny?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, let's go ahead and try to knock those out real quick if we can.
All right, Mr. Roboto says, how about Power Rangers 2099?
That's a fun notion, yeah. We've never done straight up super futuristic Power Rangers. Obviously, the closest thing you get is Time Force, which is a time travel show. But we haven't really done one that's no. RPM is set in the future, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a futuristic show.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sure. Because
it's a not too distant future type of a thing, isn't it? Where
it's not super futuristic. I assumed it was I don't know how that's connected to any other Power Ranger stuff if it's not somewhat in the future. But
it's not really that futuristic.
It doesn't seem futuristic, but But anyway,
there are lots of robot stuff and stuff.
Well, yeah, but we have plenty of that in regular Power Rangers. I'm sorry, what was that, Danny?
It was 2003, and a lot of the stuff they were doing, like the cell phone looking Morpher.
Oh no, it's later than that, dude. Because Dino Thunder is 04. It's an SPD's after Dino Thunder. No, it's 06, 07.
And
never mind. That's right around the iPhone.
Remember, it's the last one of the Disney era. It's the one right before we take a year off because we think we're never getting anymore.
Yeah, that's right. I'm way off.
Oh, that's all right. That's easy to do. There's a lot of these now. We have 25 years of Power Rangers. We've had 24 shows, so or 21 show, however many shows we've had.
I mean, Ziggy is my favorite thing ever.
Not to be confused with the little computer that Al has in Quantum Leap. Yeah, I got a Quantum Leap reference in there. I think Ziggy was the name of that thing. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
had to leap for it too.
No, that wasn't a leap at all. Ziggy is the name of that thing. Okay, so anyway, I think a futuristic Power Rangers set in a not post-apocalyptic world, but maybe something of a, corporate dystopia would not be a bad idea. Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm sure Kamen Rider's done stuff like that. Oh, RPM was 09. I knew it was a lot later than that.
I'm thinking of SPD. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, those are different things.
Yeah. Totally different.
Super futuristic Esquialidocious.
You heard it here first, folks. What else you got, sir?
Christian Ogden, sorry. Can episode 9 salvage the damage done by Last Jedi?
I don't mean to cop out with a super chat, and I appreciate your question, but the answer is we'll see when we get there, man. And I'm gonna say it like this too. If anybody can salvage it, I don't know if it's that guy. Because too much of what we've seen now from J.J. Abrams is just kind of remixing things people like already and kind of, way manipulating an audience to, get really excited about a thing that doesn't have as much substance as it seems to at first glance, which might sound a little bit unfair, but I felt that way with his Star Trek, and I know a lot of people feel that way about Force Awakens. That remains a movie I liked in an incomplete piece that remains incomplete and forevermore will, because it feels like it's a different thing than what was done after it. So anyway, this is all so weird. Just where we're at with this. I don't think it's unsalvageable to the public. I don't. It's hard to say what exactly he needs to do. I don't know what status quo you leave off after Last Jedi to get people excited about another trilogy in that franchise or just the next movie. But I don't know the answer to that. I don't think right now anybody can really answer that. I think it will be very interesting to see what the numbers on that movie are, because I think it could go either way, honestly. Do you agree with that, Danny? I mean, I don't think Last Jedi being as polarizing as it was means that movie doesn't do buku numbers. If you put the right stuff in the trailer and you get people re-energized, I think it's possible it does really well. I also think Force Awakens was so huge. Maybe this won't be the case for main fan base. I don't know, but I think the general public will hear Abrams' name, and if they didn't like Last Jedi, they'll be like, "Well, I like the first one he made."
Yeah, I think just the future reception of the entire third trilogy kind of lives or dies on how the reception is for episode 9. Like, if it's good, everyone will, they'll go back to liking episode Force Awakens. If it's good, they'll kind of brush over the parts of Last Jedi they didn't like. And if it's bad, it'll be something where they say, oh, well, Force Awakens was like an anomaly, or we only liked it because of what we thought it was setting up. And all the parts of Last Jedi that we didn't like ended up ruining the franchise or being the issue with the franchise. So I think it just kind of, it can certainly be salvaged. But I don't really know.
If I had been Disney after the reception to Last Jedi and how polarizing it was and how it didn't move merchandise like they wanted it to, I would have done two things. I would have put Solo off another 6 months. They really should have done that. I still stand by that movie flopped partly because of proximity to the last movie that came out, regardless of how well it did. I don't think 6 months after the Star Wars movie is released at Christmas, when it's going up against a bunch of other stuff, and summer is pretty thick with genre stuff, I don't think you put out a Star Wars movie. I think you need more time than that. And a lot of people were already concerned that one a year was too many. Why in the world did we rush that for 6 months after, especially after Last Jedi, especially when we fired the directors and we brought in somebody else? Why in the world did we do that? I think that was a huge mistake. And then so what I would have done is I would have put it off 6 months, and I would have put it where you would usually have a Star Wars movie at Christmas, and then I would have put off the next one by a whole year. I would have had 2 years in between the last Star Wars movie and Episode 9 because there's some fatigue with that franchise. They're not moving product, and a lot of people were not real sure about that last movie or absolutely detested it, right? So like, I wouldn't have rushed it, is what I'm saying. I mean, part of it is, I think, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and people might have been more curious if you waited longer. And I think part of the reason they would have been more curious is because they took their time on it. Now, people might have looked at it as damage control, where it's like, oh, well, they just put it off because they were scared that people would go to a Star Wars movie after how polarized that was. But so what? I mean, I think that's a smart thing to do, right? Like, they get a director who didn't think he was going to make another movie, and it's hard to say how excited he even was to come back and do that movie. And then they rush it for 2 years after the last one. I wouldn't have done that. I would have put 3 years between them.
Yeah, I it's weird to me when we try to rush stuff out, especially when there is so much, like, never in my, I don't know, past couple of years of like following movies and everything, I've never seen a movie like get trashed as, oh, it was just damage control, they pushed off its damage control, and it like negatively affects what the movie ends up being. Like, I think it's like a rule of thumb, if you have to push stuff off to make it better, it usually ends up working in your favor. Like, you see this with games all the time, if they have to get delayed to refine stuff. It never seems to work out to rush something out. It always seems to be better to just control and hold it off and let it give it the time it needs to.
The problem is when you something like Dark Phoenix, let's say, or something like Fan Four Stick. I think Fan Four Stick was later than it was supposed to be. I'm actually not sure about that. Maybe they did rush that to put it on time. I can't remember. I think that did come out on time.
I thought it came out on time, and there were issues because of the director and them not wanting.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I learned all that in the rewind, but I can't remember if that was a movie that got pushed back or not. But let's stick with Dark Phoenix for a minute. That is a movie that I think is getting a negative reputation, partly because it's been put off so long, and because we keep hearing about reshoots and multiple cuts, and the studio not being behind it, and people not getting along with Kinberg, and all these different things. I think that can hurt your box office, even if it's better for the movie. And that's why I hesitated saying that, because I think that is a risk, right? Where it's like, well, you only put it off because it was in bad shape in the first place. But if you announced it before you even started filming it, you're just like, we need more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just need more lead time to develop this movie. I think it does hurt movies sometimes when they've been when they've been being made for a while, especially when you heard, we've wrapped shooting. It's coming out 6 months after it was supposed to. I think that can really hurt things.
That's a really good point. I wasn't even thinking Dark Phoenix, and that's like the most recent example of proving me wrong.
Yeah, and the same thing looks like it's happening with New Mutants, if that even goes to theater. So,
direct to Hulu.
How many super chats do we have left? 2 or 3?
Yeah, 3. Okay.
Oh boy, well, I'm gonna try to go a lot faster. Sorry, there was. I always do this. I'm like, okay, I don't mean to cop out, but I'm gonna answer this real short, and then I just roll with it. Sorry about that. But yeah, we've got to do Power Rangers pretty soon. But I do not want to shaft the super chats. So thank you guys for your support. We appreciate you. We're gonna knock these out as quickly as we can. I hope there's not a "what is the meaning of life" type question. Go ahead.
All right. Nicholas Robinson says, "Hi, Captain Logan. Who are your top 5 favorite comic book antiheroes? Your favorite X-Men characters? I only care about your thoughts on Captain Marvel. Toxic Internet."
Oh wow. Well, I take that as a major compliment. Thanks so much. I'm sure other people will have interesting thoughts about Captain Marvel that aren't super toxic, or rather that aren't facilitating that kind of comment thread or whatever. But I understand how you feel about that, and thank you for the compliment. Okay, so
why don't you make a video on that?
That's a good idea. He's like, we can just blow right past this if you just say, I'm gonna make a video about it. That is a cool idea to make a video about. I'm not gonna do 5 because I don't have a lot of time. But wow, favorite antiheroes. I've always really liked the idea, and I say the idea because I haven't read through all of it, and I gotta go back and do that. But I like Jean-Paul Valley. Azrael Batman. An anti-hero is not a straight up villain. It's like a morally gray.
Like Catwoman.
Yeah, and Catwoman's a good pick actually. In different things. Actually, that's a really good. I wouldn't even thought to say that. That's a really good choice. Yeah, absolutely. Wolverine is probably at the very top of my list. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. He's an anti-hero?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, like he can be a hero. He can help and save people, but he also has a tendency to kill the bad guys that he goes up against. He does. He will straight up murder people. When he thinks he needs to. Obviously, the definitive Marvel anti-hero is Punisher. I'm not personally a big Punisher fan myself.
What about that Tick guy?
Well, yeah, and he's kind of based on the Punisher. You're talking about
Him and Bullet? No.
No. You stop it. In the new show, you're talking about Overkill. He's Big Shot in the. No, that's a different character. Spawn at one time would have been on my list as an idea. I love Spawn as an anti-hero.
Anti-Spawn.
Anti-Spawn is also an anti-hero. Interesting how that works out. Let me think. Danny, throw some out for me.
Everybody.
We mentioned Punisher, Wolverine. Catwoman's a really good one, which I wouldn't have thought about because I think more villain.
Huntress is sometimes an interesting anti-hero. Yeah. Venom. Certainly, except like again, in theory, Venom like the whole Lethal Protector thing never really worked for me. I like him more like when we're gonna make him a hero. I like the Agent Venom thing more, and that's more of a straight up hero. He does sometimes kill people, but he's a soldier. Well, he's not as anti-hero, but he can go to that place certainly.
One time I was at my grandma's house and I was watching cable and Spider-Man Friends show. Spider-Man show on, and Venom was actually saving people.
Yeah?
He was teaming up with Spider-Man.
That sounds like it was probably that Ultimate Spider-Man show, which I've never watched. Not past the pilot. I saw it when it was on. And then favorite X-Men. Obviously, Professor Xavier's at the top of my list. He's one of my favorite characters in comics.
Wolverine, because you're Logan.
Wolverine's in there. Yeah. For people who don't know, my real name is almost Wolverine's name. My actual real name is James Logan Williamson. I got 2 of the 3. If I was Howlett, I'd be there. But yeah, James Logan, and that was not intentional. On the part of my parents. But anyway,
what about
Jason Todd, but I don't know if anyone would consider him their favorite.
Cyclops.
Well, we're on X-Men now, right?
Cyclops is really good.
You're right. Yeah. I was still thinking anti-heroes.
I do not like Cyclops.
You don't like Cyclops? You probably just haven't read or seen a lot of great things with Cyclops.
At least in the movies, I do not like Cyclops. I hate Cyclops.
I like Nightcrawler. X-Men's weird where, like, there are a lot of characters I like as, I like, together as a dynamic. You know what I mean? Before, I never get excited about solo X-Men stuff outside of Wolverine, and even then, a lot of the time, I don't get real excited about it.
Well, you like Bishop.
Say it again?
Like Bishop.
yeah. I just love making fun of Bishop's power. No, Bishop can be fun, I guess.
Storm?
I like Storm.
I love Rogue.
Rogue's a character I like. Storm, I'm finding I kind of like more as a Black Panther character. Like I kind of like her more when she's in Wakanda than I do as in X-Men. But like I said, Nightcrawler is in there.
X-Woman.
X-Woman. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and knock out a couple more super chats.
Yeah.
All right, David.
Oh, Beast I like a lot. Beast. I gotta throw that out there.
David.
And Morph, everybody's favorite X-Man. Morph. Go ahead. He's in the first episode of the animated series, and he's killed off.
Oh.
David Crabtree. So for April, we get Shazam and The Tick Season 2, both on my birthday. Cobra Kai Season 2, and ending the month with Avengers Endgame. Very excited.
It's a crazy month. It's going to be nuts.
And my birthday.
It's going to be nuts on the channel. That's true. It's your birthday too. It's gonna be nuts on the channel to try to deal with all that stuff, and we're interested to see how much of it winds up in one omnibus.
We got March Madness.
He's excited about basketball. Yeah.
April Madness for superheroes.
That's good. I like that. Nice. Anyway, but yeah, obviously I'm excited about all that stuff. I didn't realize Cobra Kai was coming out until a couple days ago. I'm stoked about that. So a lot of things to binge. I'm going to be doing a Tick watch party. I'm going to have a lot of people coming over to binge probably that whole season. I think they dropped it from 12 to 10, but we get all of it at once this time. And I think I can knock all that out in a day. So I'm going to have some people over. We're going to watch the Tick. Cobra Kai, I'm going to watch by myself because I don't have anybody else keeping up with that. Eric liked it a lot, but he hasn't finished the first season yet. But yeah, so
I'll watch Tick with you.
It's all very exciting. Well, yeah, you'll be there. And,
yeah.
I know there's some adult stuff in that show, but I'm making an exception for Jason with that. I think he's able to handle it.
I watched all of season 1.
Way to throw that out there and make me look like a bad parent. Yes, I know there's a few F-bombs and things that I'm not real comfortable with.
Did you watch it with your Deadpool stuffed toy?
So what's the next super chat, Danny?
Grady Child says, "Hey Cap, have you ever watched Invader Zim? It's getting a revival TV movie this spring, and I've been loving the show. It makes me laugh like a lunatic."
A lot of people love that show. I've never seen it.
My sister loved that show when she was younger.
It is already 9:30. I'm supposed to be making Morphomania. We're gonna knock this last one out, and then I'm gonna leave, and then I'm gonna come right back from Power Rangers. Go ahead.
That was the last one.
Oh, that was the last one?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for being here, folks. Sure appreciate it. Bye. No, it's a really fun show. It's my fault for being late. Thanks everybody for popping in and chatting with us. I hope you had a good time. We certainly did. Danny and I. Danny doesn't even know about that I'm going to do this right now, but I'd like to reward everybody who stuck around or for whatever reason thought to skip the last 5 minutes of this video and after the fact. And we're going to make a little announcement. Danny and I have something cooking that we've been teasing, and we're finally going to tell you what it is. So at the beginning of next week, starting on Monday, we are going to post our big secret Batman project that we keep teasing. That has to do with Batman 89. We're going to start on Monday. It's going to be 7 days of content, and up with all the other things that we have going on. It's going to be a big week next week because I still got stuff from the last omnibus to post. But you're also going to get a bonus thing that Danny and I have had cooking for a long time. And Danny, would you like to tell everybody what we're doing?
Oh yeah. We are going to be watching Batman 89 7 days in a row and doing
That's right.
7 commentaries. So
we had a joke for April Fool's last year that we were doing Batman 89 365. It was going to be a commentary on Batman for every single day of the year. And then Danny and I got to talking. We were like, why don't we do it, but like in a micro way? And it doesn't sound micro until you have it relative to the original ridiculous notion. Yeah, we're going to do 7 days of 89 commentaries, each of them on a different subject. Some of them are.
Well, that's really funny.
Yeah, don't tell anybody what it is, Jason.
No,
we are going to keep the subjects a secret. Some of them are going to be really silly and jokey, and at least one of them possibly almost unlistenable. The rest of them are going to be a little bit more academic. I'll say the first one is going to be just a regular commentary, and then after that, we've got some things about particular aspects of the movie. I'll blow this one. We have one that's about the cultural significance and the influence of 89 on the culture at large. So that's what we're going to do, some things like that. But anyway, and then the last one is going to be absolutely nuts. We asked ourselves, do you want to get nuts? And then we said, yes, we do. Let's get nuts. And we're doing something just absolutely insane. And that's the one that Danny and I have not shot yet. We are doing it tomorrow with a special guest. And it's going to be great. It's going to be or we hope it is. It's going to be absolutely insane. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's such a ridiculous, crazy notion. We will, at the end of this, have 10 commentaries on Batman 89 on the channel. We already have 3, and we're going to have 7 more. Danny, it has been, I hate to put people's expectations over the moon or anything. It has been one of my favorite things we have ever done.
It has been a blast for me to do because I love the commentaries, Cap, you've done on the channel, and to be able to do 7 is awesome. But to do 7 on one movie and find new stuff to talk about every single time is It's been so much fun to do.
Yeah, it's been absolutely nuts. It is so much fun, and I have discovered that I am immune to seeing 89 too many times. We were afraid doing this project we would be so sick of it we'd never want to see it again. I'm immune to it. I can watch it every day. I don't think it would ever bother me. We got one more super chat really quick from Bad Studios. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, buddy, for elongating this even more. Go ahead and read that for me, Danny, and then we're gonna bid adieu to everybody. And DJ and I will see you in just a few minutes with some more Power Rangers Zeo. And also some Jason. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull it up because I had closed out of our chat.
That's all right. You got it. You got it.
So I saw Sally sitting solemn in the shoe shine shop on Sunset Street. Does she sell seashells by the seashore? Pick one to be crap, Star Trek, or Tick.
What does that mean?
He threw
Pick one
tongue
to be
twister.
crap.
Pick one to be pick one to be worse than the other.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Danny, help me out here.
One to be, I think it's something along the lines of if one of those shows, one of those franchises has to be bad perpetually, like from here on out, everything that's produced in that franchise is horrible. Which one would you rather it be, Star Trek or the Tick?
Boy, that's hard. I mean, I guess I would, if that's what he's saying, I guess I would have to, yeah, if one could never be good again. I hate to say this. I guess I would have to say the Tick. There's less of it, but most of what we've had has been wonderful. And it's a thing that every time new stuff gets announced for, I'm really surprised we're even getting anymore. The Tick's one of those things that 10, 15 years ago, I would have thought we were done and we would never see any more from it. Star Trek, I think, in a lot of ways, is a thing we really need right now. We need in something closer to its purest form. So,
yeah, but Star Trek is being really bad right now.
Yeah, that is
Orville
true.
is taking over.
Jason loves the Orville. Anyway, we're going to need to get going, folks. Thanks again for watching. Sure appreciate it. And see some of you guys here in just a few minutes. Give us about 5 minutes or so for Morphin Mania. And once again, this is what Sonic looks like. I am Captain Logan.
And I am Jason.
And I want to thank, as always, my wonderful chat moderator and producer, Danny Nixon.
Hey, that's me.
This was Captain Logan saying good night.
It was me.
Good night.
Night.